straight into this because there's plenty to read for me. Aren't I the lucky one, giving myself all this work? D.A.R.P.A, Broad Agency Announcement, Biological Technologies Office. This is HR 001126 S for Sierra 0003, October 1st, 2025. This publication constitutes a broad agency announcement, BAA, as contemplated in Federal Acquisition Regulation, FAR, 6.102 in brackets 2 in bracket D, in brackets 2, and 35.016 and 2 CFR, don't know what that little symbol is, 200.203. Any resultant award negotiations will follow all pertinent law and regulation, and any negotiations and/or awards for procurement contracts will use procedures under FAR, that is Federal Acquisition Regulation 15.4. Contract pricing as specified in the BAA, which is the Broad Agency Announcement. Okay, so that's the little bits that they put on there, little small print. So overview information. Federal agency name, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which is D.A.R.P.A. Biological Technologies Office. Funding opportunity title, Biological Technologies. Announcement type, initial announcement. Funding opportunity number, well, that's that long number, that HR number, which appears at the top of every page. Assistance listing number 12.910. Dates or time, all times are Eastern Time Zone. Posting date, October 1st, 2025. Proposal abstract due date. Abstracts may be submitted on a rolling basis until September 30th, 2026 at 4 p.m. ET. That's Eastern Time Zone. Proposal due date. Proposals may be submitted on a rolling basis until September 30th, 2026 at 4 p.m. ET. So that's the same. Right, submission requirements. An abstract must be submitted and a notification to submit a proposal must be received prior to any proposal submission. A proposal will not be reviewed if it is submitted without 1. Submitting an abstract and 2. Receiving a notification to submit a proposal. Anticipated individual awards. Multiple awards are anticipated. Types of instruments that may be awarded: procurement contract, cooperative agreement, other transaction agreement for research, that's OT-R, or other transaction agreement for prototype, that's OT-P. NAICS code 541714. Agency contact. Points of contact. The BAA coordinator for this effort may be reached at BTOBAA2026 at darpa.mil. That's DARPA/BTO. ATT attention, HR 00, right, so that's the number of this contract solicitation, HR 001126 Sierra 0003, 675 North Randolph Street, Arlington, Virginia, 22203-2114. So that's the address of D.A.R.P.A. Right. Section 1, Funding Opportunity Description. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, D.A.R.P.A, Biological Technologies Office, BTO, is soliciting proposals that leverage biological properties and processes to revolutionize our ability to protect the nation's warfighters. Specifically excluded is research that primarily results in evolutionary improvements to the existing state of practice. BTO harnesses advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning to create new opportunities for transformative science across the biological spectrum. Warfighter health and well-being are critical to mission success. BTO develops diagnostic and assessment systems to identify chemical and biological threats, medical countermeasures, and novel approaches to tactical care and warfighter performance and recovery on and off the battlefield. BTO also leverages biological processes, technologies, and manufacturing opportunities to create resilient infrastructures and supply chains, protective solutions, and innovative sensors to ensure mission success in any location. BTO is interested in submissions related to the following topic areas. General topics, biological and/or chemical technology topic areas that fit the national security scope of BTO's mission. Research into market opportunities, constraints, and communities affecting financing and commercialization of bioindustrial and biomedical technologies. Machine learning and artificial intelligence. Developing and advancing our understanding of the impact and principles underlying biological data generation, assessment, and incorporation into the biological foundation models or mixed mode foundation models. This includes taking theoretical approaches as well as understanding the scaling laws of these data for various types of models. Advancing the capabilities of broad or narrow biological and/or chemical or mixed mode foundation models far beyond the state of the art. Developing and proving non-experimental models or hybrid experimental non-experimental assessment strategies for biological foundation model assessment. Exponentially accelerating the timescale of biological system simulation from the subcellular through multicellular, organismal, and environmental systems, including for threat prediction, impact assessment, and attribution modeling. Developing ML and AI-enabled technologies to improve the accuracy, precision, and efficiency of warfighter decision-making in complex and dynamic environments, for example, on and off the battlefield, including for real-time threat assessment and response planning. The development of virtual testbeds, digital twins, and/or synthetic data to accelerate or improve the predictive modeling of human performance. Combat casualty care. Developing novel diagnostic, prophylactic, and therapeutic approaches for warfighter injury that can be provided even in austere settings and extreme conditions. Developing capabilities and technologies that enhance the ability of non-skilled service members to perform essential medical tasks closer to the point of injury, reducing dependence on highly trained personnel through assistive devices. Hang on a minute. Reducing dependency on highly trained personnel. Does that mean they don't want any highly trained personnel? I mean, if you're reducing the dependence on them, you're reducing the need for them, you're reducing the need to train in order to have them, you're reducing the need to recruit them. So you're cutting back on personnel because all personnel, you're dependent on all of them, right? So if you don't want them to be dependent on highly trained personnel, that means you're going to be cutting back. So you're shrinking down the boots on the ground, so to speak, the trained personnel. This isn't good. It's like a dumbing down in a way and handing it over to machines or something. Anyway, through assistive devices, it is. So developing decision support tools that algorithmically optimize the alignment of medical requirements and resources in complex data-constrained mass casualty scenarios to enhance near real-time situational awareness and command and control. C2. Planning and execution. Development of capabilities and technologies that enhance the ability of non-skilled service members to perform essential medical tasks closer to the point of injury, reducing dependency on highly trained personnel through assistive devices. Well, let me have a look. That development, development capabilities. Development, all right, so that's why that's the only difference, is it? I think development of capabilities instead of developing capabilities and technologies that enhance the ability. Yeah, that's like a repeat, isn't it? Of this. Interesting. Okay, let's go to the next one. Human performance, understanding and improving treatment of and resilience in neurological health, transformative neural processing, fatigue, cognition, and optimized human performance and teaming, including in extreme conditions. Discovering interventions that utilize biotechnology, biochemistry, molecular biology, microbiology, neuroscience, psychology, cognitive science, social and behavioral science, and related disciplines to assess and optimize human performance and teaming. Developing and leveraging technologies to advance continuous or near continuous monitoring of physiology to elucidate mechanisms of human readiness, cognitive status, and resilience. Understanding and improving interfaces between the biological and physical worlds to enable seamless biohybrid systems and devices. Developing approaches to enhance physiological resilience, performance, and survivability in extreme conditions. For example, cold weather, extreme heat, high altitude. Identifying technologies and tactics to increase or accelerate the impact of training regimens while reducing the risk of injury. Materials, sensors, processing. Designing novel materials, sensors, or processes that mimic or are inspired by biological systems. Okay. Designing novel materials, sensors, or processes that mimic or are inspired by biological systems. So does that sound like trying to imitate the human being, for example? We are biological with artificial intelligence, machine learning, and these are the technologies. Basically making robots that mimic humans. Does it? It might not. Creating tools such as foundation models or prediction engines to understand the underlying rules defining biomolecular and biomaterial or hybrid biotic, biotic or abiotic material structure or function properties, individual for in brackets individual properties or groups of properties, in order to predict desired outcomes for novel material development, novel being new. Importantly, these predictions should hold from the molecular scale to the macro scale. just so we're all on the same page, let's go molecular definition and macro definition. Molecular, of, relating to or consisting of molecules, of or relating to simple or basic structure or form, pertaining to, connected with, produced by or consisting of molecules. Well, I don't trust Merriam-Webster. They got done for being so woke, like communist, trying to change the definitions of words and stuff with absolute unrelated nonsense. Okay, so here it is in the Collins Dictionary. Let's go. Can we find British English? There we are. Molecular, of or relating to molecules, molecular hydrogen, logic of a sentence, formula, etc., capable of analysis into atomic formulae of the appropriate kind. Okay, right, so definitely that is molecules. And macro definition of great size, large. Large in scope or extent, large scale, very large in scale or scope or capability. In scrap menu, Merriam-Webster, where's Collins? Let's see what Collins says. In British English, a macro lens. Macro instruction, a single computer instruction that initiates a set of instructions to perform a specific task. That's not helpful, actually, is it? Let me go back where I was then. Basically means large in size, so it's something macro instead of micro. Okay. Coming back to our document. So where had I seen that? I'd seen that in this part. Creating tools such as foundation models or prediction engines to understand the underlying rules defining biomolecular and biomaterial or hybrid biotic / abiotic material structure / function properties, in brackets, individual properties or groups of properties, in order to predict desired outcomes for novel material development. Importantly, these predictions should hold from the molecular scale to the macro scale. Okay, so from tiny to large. Developing new computational and experimental tools and predictive capabilities for engineering of biological systems, such as cells, tissues, organs, organisms, and complex communities, to both develop new products and functional systems, as well as to gain new insights into underlying mechanisms. Developing technologies to leverage biological systems and enhance the acquisition and maintenance of critical and strategic organic and inorganic materials. Understanding and leveraging complex biological systems into underlying functional rules and processes to provide models that govern interactions of biological systems from biofilms to organs or ecosystems. Developing new platform technologies that integrate, automate, and miniaturize the collection, processing, and analysis via direct or indirect interrogation of biological and chemical samples. Developing hybrid biological / engineered systems that integrate biological organisms, components, biologically encoded circuitry, biogenic materials, or exploit biological phenomena to surpass capabilities of abiotic equivalents. Developing novel biological sensor platforms with reduced size, weight, and power requirements of equivalent electro-optical or electromechanical systems with orders of magnitude increase in equivalent performance. Agricultural and environmental. Understanding and addressing emerging threats to global food, water, and ecosystem stability, including developing scalable countermeasures and controlled propagation of targeted functions for regional and global implementation in soil and other environments. So I'd like to know what that means. Advancing insights into non-human biology, for example, microbes, insects, plants, marine life, and their interactions with the environment to inform tactical and strategic advantages, including concealment, camouflage, bioinorganic capabilities, and operations in extreme environments. Developing bio-based materials science, synthetic biology, and/or ecological innovations to support agricultural security, enhance ecosystem restoration, and post-disaster recovery in terrestrial, marine, and post-disaster environments. Creating and validating computational models and experimental tools to understand and predict collective behaviors of biological systems, from cells to ecosystems, including population and ecosystem dynamics, to accelerate innovation and uncover mechanisms for tuning biological processes and preserving equilibrium. Creating models and tools to exceed the natural pace of biological processes from molecular genetics and metabolomics. Metabolomics? Is that how you pronounce that? Metabolomics. To microbial evolution and community dynamics, and create informed approaches for effective deployment of biological innovations from lab to field. Security, safety, and surveillance. Developing new technologies and approaches to ensure the biosafety and biosecurity of biological hardware and data. Ensuring the safety and security of AI technologies that accelerate biological research and development processes. Developing innovative technologies to detect, characterize, treat, prevent, and forecast the effects of novel, engineered, or natural emerging pathogens that have the potential to cause significant health, economic, and social burdens, to prevent their spread and understanding of their origin. Hang on. To prevent their spread and understanding of their origin. So there's not like to prevent understanding of their origin and to prevent their spread. So censorship. How odd. To prevent their spread and understanding of their origin. Gosh. Developing ML, which is machine learning, AI, which is artificial intelligence approaches. Developing machine learning, AI approaches, and advanced data analytics for the rapid analysis, interpretation, identification, attribution, origin tracing of large-scale, disparate biological and environmental surveillance data streams, enabling anomaly detection, pattern recognition, scalable detection, and predictive analytics to identify emergent threats or anomalous events and provide early warning and anticipatory action against natural or man-made biological threats. Advancing technologies for determination and attribution along with data provenance analysis at chemical, isotopic, genetic, and community structure levels. Develop novel sensing, surveillance, and processing technologies, including in situ and remote modalities, to detect, identify, monitor, and analyze weak biological signals of emergent pathogens, novel, engineered, or natural, at all scales, including their secondary effects on the environment. Developing new technologies and data analytics to support next generation surveillance, detection, identification, and attribution of human and agricultural pathogens at scale and in near real time. Developing novel in situ or remote sensing and surveillance technologies at the global, regional, and local scales that detect and identify novel, engineered, and/or natural emergent pathogens to prevent their spread or understand their origin. Biomedical and biodefense. Developing new technologies for rapid, automated, and resilient manufacturing, delivery, and distribution of critical molecules for applications in therapeutics, chemical, and biological defense. Developing new technologies to support next-generation cellular therapeutic applications. Developing new platform technologies for targeted, effective, spatio-temporally controlled delivery of large and small molecules and biologics. Leveraging biotechnology to create new platform solutions that combat antimicrobial resistance, generate novel drug and cell-based therapeutics, and treat warfighter injury and illness. Section 2. Evaluation criteria. Abstracts and proposals will be evaluated using the following criteria listed in descending order of importance. Overall, scientific and technical merit, potential contribution and relevance to the D.A.R.P.A mission, and cost and schedule realism. An abstract must be submitted and a notification to submit a proposal must be received prior to any proposal submission. A proposal will not be reviewed if it is submitted without 1. Submitting an abstract, and 2. Receiving a notification to submit a proposal. Now, as far as I can see, that leaves nothing to ambiguity or vagueness or anything. That's like written out the same twice, just to be clear. So you must have submitted an abstract, and since that submission, you must have received a notification telling you to submit a proposal before you submit a proposal. This, that's explicit. That's straight to the point. It's written twice. You cannot mistake that, as far as I can see anyway. So, overall scientific and technical merit. So this is the most important in the criteria. Overall scientific and technical merit. The proposed technical approach is innovative, feasible, achievable, and complete. The proposed technical team has the expertise and experience to accomplish the proposed tasks. Task descriptions and associated technical elements provided are complete and in a logical sequence, with all proposed deliverables clearly defined such that a final outcome that achieves the goal can be expected as a result of award. The proposal identifies major technical risks, and planned mitigation efforts are clearly defined and feasible. The proposer's prior experience in similar efforts clearly demonstrates an ability to design and execute projects that meet the proposed technical performance within the proposed budget and schedule. Yeah, that's pretty strict. You've got to be on it like a car bonnet. So the second in order of importance in the criteria, the evaluation criteria, is potential contribution and relevance to the D.A.R.P.A mission. The potential contributions of the proposed effort bolster the national security technology base and support D.A.R.P.A's mission to make pivotal early technology investments that create or prevent technological surprise. Third, cost realism and schedule. The proposed costs are realistic for the technical and management approach and accurately reflect the technical goals and objectives of the solicitation. The proposed costs are consistent with the proposer's statement of work and reflect a sufficient understanding of the costs and level of effort needed to successfully accomplish the proposed technical approach. The costs for the prime proposer and proposed sub-awardees are substantiated by the details provided in the proposal. For example, the type and number of labour hours proposed per task, the types and quantities of materials, equipment and fabrication costs, travel and any other applicable costs, and the basis for the estimates. It is expected that the effort will leverage all available relevant prior research in order to obtain the maximum benefit from the available funding. For efforts with a likelihood of commercial application, appropriate direct cost sharing may be a positive factor in the evaluation. D.A.R.P.A recognizes that undue emphasis on cost may motivate proposers to offer low-risk ideas with minimum uncertainty, and to staff the effort with junior personnel in order to be in a more competitive posture. D.A.R.P.A discourages such cost strategies. Okay, so that sounds like don't scrimp and scrape. We want experts, we want people who know their shit and who can do it. So as far as your personnel's concerned, we want the best, regardless of the price. But obviously the price can't be extortionate. It has to be realistic. Okay. So they're sounding like they're trying to get the best while not blowing the taxpayers' money. But is that really the reason? Anyway, unless otherwise specified in this announcement, for additional information on how D.A.R.P.A reviews and evaluates proposals through the scientific review process, please visit Prospect Instructions, General Terms and Conditions. Now that's a darpa.mil/work-with-us/proposer-instructions link. Okay. Again, you can download this on the website that I downloaded it from, which I have put the link to in the description of this live stream. Section 3, Submission Information. This announcement allows for multiple award instrument types to be awarded to include procurement contracts, cooperative agreements, and other transaction agreements. Some award instrument types have specific cost-sharing requirements. The following websites are incorporated by reference and contain additional information regarding overall proposer instructions, general terms and conditions, and each specific award instrument type. This announcement allows for an accelerated award option for selected full proposals that do not exceed $2 million. For proposers who have agreed to prescribe stipulations as part of their full proposal submissions, awards for such proposals will be made within 30 days of the selection notification. Please see attachments G through K for details. Proposers must review the following links prior to submitting an abstract or proposal. So you've got a link to the proposer instructions, general terms and conditions. You've got a link to procurement contracts. You've got a link to cooperative agreements and a link to other transactions. Now, proposal abstracts and full proposals that are not found to be applicable to this proposal, HR 001126 Sierra 0003, as defined above, may be deemed non-conforming and removed from consideration. All abstracts and proposals must provide sufficient information to assess the validity, feasibility of their claims, as well as comply with the requirements outlined herein for submission, formatting, content, and transmission to D.A.R.P.A. Abstracts and full proposals that fail to do so may be deemed non-conforming and removed from consideration. This announcement contains a required abstract phase. Proposers must submit an abstract in response to this solicitation to be invited to submit a proposal. There it is, laid out clear as crystal again. Abstracts will be reviewed on a rolling basis and can be submitted until September 30th, 2026 at 4 p.m. Remember what we read earlier, that's Eastern Time Zone. So in America, East Coast. As stated in the overview section, D.A.R.P.A. will respond to abstracts with a statement as to whether D.A.R.P.A. is interested in the idea. If D.A.R.P.A. does not invite the proposer to submit a full proposal, D.A.R.P.A. will provide feedback to the proposer regarding the rationale for this decision. Proposers should note that an invitation to submit a full proposal is not a guarantee that a proposal based on the abstract will ultimately be selected for award negotiation. Regardless of instrument type desired, all abstracts must be submitted through the Broad Agency Announcement Tool, that's the B-A-A-T. For instructions on how to submit to BAT, visit the Unclassified Submission Instructions section at Proposer Instructions, General Terms and Conditions, which is linked above in this document. Additional instructions for abstract submission are contained within Attachment A. Full proposals can be submitted through September 30th, 2026 at 4 p.m. Remember, ET, Eastern Time, as stated in the overall section. So, this then gives attachments B, C, and D, contain specific instructions and templates and constitute a full proposal submission for proposers requesting either a procurement contract or other transaction. Proposers requesting procurement contracts or OTs must submit proposals through the Broad Agency Announcement Tool, the BAAT. Attachments B and D contain specific instructions and templates and constitute a full proposal submission for proposers requesting a cooperative agreement. Proposers requesting a cooperative agreement must also complete the SF424 in brackets R&R budget through grants.gov. Proposers requesting a cooperative agreement must submit proposals through grants.gov. This announcement allows for an accelerated award option for selected full proposals and do not exceed $2 million for proposers who have agreed to prescribed stipulations as part of their full proposal submissions. Awards for such proposals will be made within 30 days of the selection notification. Please see attachments H through L for details. Attachment G and Attachment K or L, if requesting an OT, must be included in the proposal submission to receive this type of award. Proposers requesting this accelerated award option must submit proposals through the Broad Agency Announcement Tool. That's the BAAT. And this is all of the attachments that one could then go on to read, but I'm not going to.
Smooth moderator.